Hey guys, with a new video. So today we're gonna have a look on how to make it. So for this we have to track the scene, then set up a 3D scene, then we're gonna go for simulation and then compositing. So let's begin it with After Effects. So hit new project, import your footage. I will put the link in the description to all the resources. And now let's go ahead to your footage and just drag and drop it into your composition. And now we have a footage going on. So first thing we need to do is to track the motion. So come to tracker and track camera. So let's hit this and it will take a time. I'm just gonna speeding it up. Okay. So it's solving the camera now. And after that we will have some trackers. And now we have, but just select the effect and we have a lot of them. So move these playback to the end of the video and we're going to select some of the trackers. So I'm going for these and these and these and right click and create solid and camera. So now the solid is created, but it's not perfectly aligned. It will be aligned in the 3D scene and we will do and make it perfect. Yeah. So we have a perfect track going on. And even though if it's not rented better, but we will do it in 3D scene later on. So, okay. Just pause it, select all of the stuff and come to file. I will put the link to the scripts file that I'm exporting this data in the JSON form. So export composition data to JSON and click it and browse and select the location where you want to save it. I'm going for this location, name it and save it. Hit export and now the data is exported. Now it's time to set up a 3D scene. So we're going for Blender and we will set it up in Blender. So now come to file, import, and we have this add-on. I will also put the link to the same add-on to import JSON data that we exported from After Effects. So now go to the directory where you save the JSON file and import a we have some default settings. Let's delete all of those objects that were from default. And now we have a 3D scene going on. And first of all, we're going to delete this plan. And if we play it, it's perfectly done. But one thing that we can change is to select everything, and we have so many keyframes. Just grab this keyframe into first keyframe. So actually it will start from the first keyframe and it will be aligned better with the timeline, as After Effects start from 0 and Blender start from 1. That is why we have to grab those keyframes. Okay, so now come up to the camera settings, background image, add image, and it's a movie clip. Let's open this movie clip. This is the same footage that we used in After Effects. We just need to grab it. Okay, so first thing first, we need to increase the opacity of the footage. And then if we play through, we have a perfect, not perfect, because the frame rate is not the same that we want. First of all, change the orientation to local, and yeah, we need to rotate this on a y-axis to align it with the statue. That's why we can change. That's why we have changed the orientation to local. And now scale this down to align it perfectly to the statue. Sorry. Okay. So I think something very bad happening where this solid object is sliding. Yeah, in order to fix this, we need to change the frame rate, because After Effects by default Blender gives us 24 frames per second. We need to change it to 30 frames per second to solve the problem, and now it's perfect and it's perfectly tracked. So this is what we want. And now it's time to import our statue model that I will put the link in the description to it. So this is the statue model, and I will also give you the link as I told you before. Okay, so first we need to come to camera view, and what we need to do, we need to select these solids, not solid, but these empty. Hit Shift S and cursor to select it. Then after that, we need to select the statue model and then hit Shift Ace and selection to cursor. Okay, so here we go. Now what we need to do, we need to hide the solid object and scale the statue up to actually align it with the footage. And now let's rotate these on a y-axis. Okay, it's not perfectly rotated as the actual object is. So in order to rotate it perfectly, we need to turn on the solid layer, and then we need to align the statue with the plan object or the solid object. So here we go. We need to rotate this and grab it onto x-axis, and we just need to align it with the solid object and it will be perfect. Okay, so just rotate it, and yeah, okay, it's fine, I think. Just move it on x-axis. Okay, come to camera view, and now if we play it, it will be perfect. One thing, we need to grab this on a z-axis, and then it will be perfectly aligned to the statue in the background. Just scale it on z-axis slightly. Okay, so shift ace cursor to selected, and we need to create some collision object for the other object going on in the downward in the ground actually. So we need to add a cube, and then what we need to do, we need to grab it into x-axis, then rotate these on a z-axis, something like this, and now just align it with the statue model, and then we will go for some other tweaking, settings and all of those. So now we need to scale these maybe just slightly on z-axis, and yeah, okay, so I think it's perfect. Now just grab it on x-axis slightly. Now go to camera view, and yeah, it's perfectly aligned. So need to scale these on z-axis slightly to align it with the background. Actually, we're going to trace the background. So select the downward edges, and just going to wireframe, X, vertex select those. Yeah. Now come to camera view, solid view, and then hit E. Or maybe we need to grab it on z-axis, then hit E, S, and scale it actually. So again E, and then extrude it on z-axis, something like this, and hit X to delete the face, and reselect all of those, and hit E, then scale this thing, hit E and grab it to downward, then hit S to actually scale it a little bit to align it with the background, and grab it on z-axis. Then again hit E to extrude it, something like this, and yeah, scale it slightly, just grab it on z-axis. So do the same thing and trace the whole background or the ground beneath these statue. So I'm just speeding things up to actually go through the tutorial faster as possible. Extrude it and then extrude again. Okay. So we have selected all of those objects, and now okay, so all of those are just collision objects, so we are not going to add any detail. They are just collision objects to actually interact with the fluid simulation. Okay, so we have a perfect track going on, and yeah, okay, that's fine. So now it's time for some simulations. Let's save our file first. Track.blend and save blender file. Now it's time for some simulations to actually add fluid simulation into our shot. Okay, so hit Shift A, add a cube, which is actually a domain object for our fluid simulation. What a domain object is, it's just an object where the fluid is gonna happen. So wherever the domain is, the fluid will be limited to that point. So if you're going for a huge simulation, then make it huge. If you're not going for something really big and better, then just go for the size that I'm going for, because I'm not making it very crazy and it is a normal domain object. So scale is on the z-axis. You have to fit everything inside this domain object. If it's not fitted, then it's not gonna work. So try to fix it and fit all of the stuff inside this domain object. It's not all about fluid, it's all about the collision objects within these fluid. So make sure to have all of them inside the domain object. Select the statue, come to physics tab, hit fluid, and the type is gonna be the effector. And now we need to select every object one by one and to add actually a collision. So now select the domain and change the viewport visibility to bounce to actually not see it in solid view. Now select this cube object, add a fluid, and actually add an effector. Now select the plane, type, effector. Select other objects as well. But I think I have to join all of them to actually not go for every one of them. So I'm just going to select every single object and hit Ctrl J to actually join them. Oh, I think there's two objects still remain here. So Ctrl J. Okay, so they are joined now. All of them have an effector, and yeah. Okay, so now select the statue and Ctrl S. So now select the domain object and actually add we need to add an icosphere first, because we need a flow object. So this icosphere is actually a flow object, and we have to add it on the top of the statue actually. So just align it perfectly, because if it's not aligned perfectly, then it's not gonna work perfectly. That is why you have to align it perfectly. Now select the domain object and add a fluid and change from smoke to liquid, change the geometry to, oh, I think I am wrong, because this is a domain object. Sorry, add a domain. And now select the icosphere, type is gonna be flow, and the domain type is gonna be liquid. Now select the icosphere. First we need to go to wireframe, select the icosphere. We have a flow, change it from smoke to liquid, and scale it up slightly. Now select the domain object, change the resolution division to 128. You can go with 256, which is the perfect if you want to have your realistic simulation, but my system is not good, so I'm just going for 126. Select the icosphere, change the flow behavior to inflow, and under the initial velocity turn it on and change the z to -2 meter per second. And now select the domain object, scroll down, and first we need to change the type to all, and then is resumable, and turn on mesh. And then what we need to do, we need to Control S, yeah, save it always. Select the collision object, generate, and add a solidify modifier to it. If there is no thickness, it's not going to work perfectly. So add some thickness into those objects and go for it. Now select the domain object, go inside the settings, and now change the ending frame to something like 351. And wait, I'm just gonna change maybe we can change the time scale. The time scale actually decides the speed of the simulation. The less the number, the speed is gonna be very less. Okay, so I'm just going for 0.8 maybe, which can slow down, which will make it slow. Okay, select the icosphere, and now what we are going to do is to select all of them and hit Shift N in the edit mode. Now come to this collision property and change the surface thickness. because we want some thickness. If there's no thickness, it's not gonna work perfectly. Sometimes it works, but not always. Now select the statue and do the same with it. Increase the surface thickness. Now select the cube and change the resolution to something like 140, 45 maybe. And now hit maybe back all and be patient because it's gonna take a time. So now it's been simulated, and now if we play it, it's just falling on one place, and I think I don't want it. I want that it moves over the statue and it's actually shown in the screen, because I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm not happy with this simulation because it's just happening on the one point which we don't want. I want the simulation to play over the head of the statue. That is why I have to animate this icosphere. So free all and select the icosphere, and if we go to z-axis, and yeah, if we go to first frame, hit I to add a location keyframe, go to the ending frame and grab it this side into the hand side, and then hit I again to actually animate its location. And now select the domain object, and again what we need to click back all, and let's wait again to see what we have in the final render. So if we play it now, it's perfectly done because it's coming over the head of the statue, which what we want. And yeah, my English is not good. Okay, so now I think this is done, and if we go to other view and look at these, it's look perfect. Yeah, this is what we want. Now go to render view, sorry, camera view, and then select the statue object, come to material and hit new, change from principal BSDF to hold out, and then select these other collision objects and hit new and change the principal BSDF to hold out, and that's it. Now if we go to render view and change the render engine to cycles and change the device to GPU compute if you have, and turn on and come to film and make it transparent. And now if we play the simulation, or if we just check the simulation is black and it's not aligned perfectly. So one thing that we can change is to change the position of the statue or the scale of the statue that we have in the foreground, and also the background lighting. Select the statue and just slightly scale these on z-axis, make it smaller just slightly on z-axis to actually align it with the background statue. Okay, so now if we play it, it will be perfect. If we go to render view, it will be perfectly interacting with the background statue. But the main problem is the lighting, which affects in black liquid, but that's what we don't want. So in order to fix it, we need to have a great HDRI for these, and I will put the link in the description to the HDRI. So if we just look at the HDRI, we just need to hit new color and change it to environment texture. I'm actually using this environment texture. I will put the link in the description. And now hit open and open up your HDRI map, and it will just fix every problem. That's it. Yeah, I think the simulation part is done. Now it's time to actually set some of the compositing setting. First we need to save it, then it's time for compositing. So compositing is an essential part. Now hit render to render one image. Then we are going to composite everything up from scratch in Blender. Yeah. Now let it to be rendered, and it's rendered. Now go to compositing, use nodes, and then what we need an movie clip, a movie clip. Yeah, just add the same footage that we just edited before. And then we need an alpha over node. So shift A, search for alpha over node, connect it and connect this image to it also. And also we need to add a viewer node. So add a viewer node, connect it to the image. Nothing's gonna happen because we need to invert those images. I will plug these into these and these into the downward. Now we have composited all of those liquid into our shot. So guys, thanks for watching. Consider subscribe because I'm making some other cool stuff in the future videos. and like this video, share it with your artist friends or product designers. So thanks for watching, and yeah, have a good time and stay creative. Thanks for watching.